How's it going, everybody? Marvel Cross 316 back with another comic book flashback, and we are now looking at the Amazing Spider-Man issue number 29. This issue came out in October of 1965, and today we are looking at the second appearance of the Scorpion. We see the return of the Scorpion here, and as we recall from issue number 20, he was a very tough villain for Spider-Man to fight, and now he's making his reappearance here, his return to threaten the lives of both Spider-Man and J. Jonah Jameson. So I'm glad that you're here. Before we get started, if you have not subscribed, go ahead and subscribe to this YouTube channel because you're going to get more exciting videos just like this. So please click that red button and let's go ahead and get started. We see right here, Never Step on a Scorpion. That's the title of this story here. And as always, this is brought to you by Stan Lee, who wrote the issue, Steve Ditko, who drew the issue, and Sam Rosen on the lettering page. Pretty cool splash page we have right here with Spider-Man and the Scorpion with J. Jonah Jameson with things to come. So let's go ahead and let's get started. We see right here we have Peter Parker here, and he looks like a lot of his clothes are not fitting on him from last year, so he goes to the store, he buys new clothes. So this is the first time we see Peter Parker dressed up in different outfits here, and I'd say it's a big improvement. But the most important thing we need to take away from this is the Scorpion escapes from prison, and we see just some of the super strength that he has right here as he breaks out of prison using his own strength. He bends those iron bars, and using his tail, he uses it like a spring and jumps out of prison. And we see right here what the Scorpion has planned. He wants to go threaten the lives of both Spider-Man and J. Jonah Jameson. But most importantly, he's after J. Jonah Jameson because J. Jonah Jameson is responsible for creating the Scorpion. So we see right here Peter Parker, he's back in the Daily Bugle. He's working for the Daily Bugle. Remember from last issue, J. Jonah Jameson had to convince Peter Parker to come back, and last issue was a great issue. I hope you watched my review on that. If you have not, go back and watch that, issue number 28. It was great. Peter Parker graduated from high school. So now we're post-grad now, and Peter Parker is just working. And we see right here, he sees Betty Brant. Remember, he has a huge crush on Betty Brant. But as he turns the corner, he sees none other than Ned Leeds. Now, we haven't seen Ned Leeds in quite some time. Remember, he went to Europe. Well, he's back from Europe from his European assignment, and he's here to stay. So now Peter Parker has a little bit of competition as he's going to have to fight for the love of Betty Brant. Because Betty Brant has a crush not only on Peter Parker, but also on Ned Leeds. So we see right here a little bit of built up things going on here, as we'll hopefully get to see in other issues of how Peter Parker is going to react when Ned Leeds is always in Betty Brant's, space. So we see right here, we see a police officer. He comes into the Daily Bugle and he's trying to alert J. Jonah Jameson about something, and that is that the Scorpion has escaped from prison. And J. Jonah Jameson starts sweating bullets, as you can see right here. He is just so nervous, and you could tell why. I mean, he's responsible for creating the Scorpion, and Peter Parker notices that J. Jonah Jameson is trying to play it off as cool, but there's something up. And Peter Parker doesn't know the full story of how the Scorpion was created, but J. Jonah Jameson is very responsible for the recreation of the Scorpion. So J. Jonah Jameson rushes back to his office. He's like, what in the world am I going to do? I can't alert Spider-Man. Spider-Man's my greatest enemy. As we've seen from the last issues, you should know by now that J. Jonah Jameson hates Spider-Man. So what does J. Jonah Jameson do? He decides that he's going to write a newspaper article showing that Spider-Man and the Scorpion have teamed up together. And they are basically both criminals. Spider-Man gets this great idea that he's just going to swing around the city to get Scorpion's attention so that he could fight Scorpion once and for all. But the Scorpion has other plans. He's like, you know what? Spider-Man's out in the open. I'll deal with him later. I'm going to go find J. Jonah Jameson. So that's exactly what he does. He goes to the Daily Bugle, and as you can see right here, Spider-Man and Scorpion are partners, says J. Jonah Jameson in the paper here. Spider-Man just really like, oh, I must be the world's biggest dummy. I mean, all this time I've been looking for the Scorpion when the Scorpion is probably at the Daily Bugle right now getting in J. Jonah Jameson's business. So he decides that he's going to go to the Daily Bugle, and it looks like Spider-Man's too late as the Scorpion has already arrived. And we see some great artwork here from Steve Ditko as the Scorpion is basically chasing J. Jonah Jameson around the building. J. Jonah Jameson is trying to escape from getting in the grasp of the Scorpion, but Scorpion pretty much corners J. Jonah Jameson here. Jameson has nowhere to go, and just at the right time, Spider-Man comes in through the window, and we're going to see a great fight scene between Spider-Man and the Scorpion here. I mean, some great work here by Steve Ditko. Great storytelling by Stan Lee. These are the glory days right here of Marvel Comics, I tell you. So Betty Brant's right in the middle of everything. Betty Brant gets nervous. Ned Leeds comes to the rescue, and Spider-Man notices, like, oh, get your hands off her. But he can't do nothing about it. He's trying to do his best to fight the Scorpion. He has to keep his mind on that. So the Scorpion is still threatening J. Jonah Jameson. I mean, the Scorpion looks like he's unbeatable. And so Spider-Man and Scorpion are just tearing up J. Jonah Jameson's office here. Police finally show up, and Jameson starts to change his attitude here, and he's like, yeah, go ahead, shoot both of them, and all that. Spider-Man and Scorpion finally go out of the building, and they're going to be fighting outside now. And Jameson changes his tune, and he says that they're both yellow, and they're both running away, and Jameson's trying to act all brave here. And so Jameson finally looks at all the wreckage. I mean, look at all the damage that's been done between the fight between Spider-Man and Scorpion here. And so he decides, this might be good after all. I mean, the insurance will pay for the whole setup and everything. But he's like, everybody get back to work. And he lets Betty Brant go home because she's just in shock. She's in shock. She experienced too much. So Ned Leeds takes her home. And so we see right here that he wants people to take pictures of Jameson, and Jameson rolls up his sleeves and he acts like he's the one that took on both Spider-Man and Scorpion. But he realizes, what if that Scorpion defeats Spider-Man? What am I going to do then? Because Scorpion's going to come right back after me. But we'll see what happens here. Is Spider-Man going to be able to defeat the Scorpion? Well, let's find out. We see Spider-Man fighting Scorpion here on top of a water tower. I mean, both are very evenly matched. Spider-Man gets this idea, I'm going to use these web balls and I'm going to tangle up the Scorpion's legs. So it's kind of like a David and Goliath thing right here. Spider-Man swings these web balls and it works. It tangles up Scorpion for a minute, but Scorpion uses his tail to backfire, leaps on Spider-Man, and they are careening in the air. But Spider-Man uses his webbing to tag along the Scorpion, so Scorpion cannot get loose, and both of them end up falling into what we see here, a lake or a river here. And so both of them are going to be fighting in the river. This goes back to the cover. If you remember what the cover looked like, Spider-Man and Scorpion are fighting in the water. Spider-Man gets the idea. He's going to put a web cartridge in, and he uses his webbing to his advantage, tangles up the Scorpion so Scorpion cannot escape. And so Scorpion is left on the docks, all gift wrapped and ready to go for the police. And that is the defeat of Scorpion. Scorpion will be going back to prison. And so there is a victory for Spider-Man right here, as Spider-Man was able to track down the Scorpion and defeat him. And so Jameson's all happy that the Scorpion is going back to the prison so that his life won't be threatened any longer. But Peter Parker's like, you know what, you are just crazy. Because he's acting like J. Jonah Jameson wrote about himself, saying that he defeated Spider-Man and the Scorpion. So we in the title, or we in the comic book here, we see Peter Parker comes back to Aunt May's house. That's where he's living, and he notices that Aunt May, she's acting a little strange as she drops a cup and it breaks, and it shows that she's having some dizzy spells. She might be getting sick, we don't know, but Peter Parker is concerned about Aunt May's health. But Aunt May does not want to tell Peter Parker about that, doesn't want him to get worried. So that leaves a little bit of suspense here as to what is going on with Aunt May. Is she not feeling well? What's going on? We'll find out next issue. I'm glad that y'all got to, if you've gotten this far in this video and you've seen everything, I'm glad that you stuck around. Go ahead, give this video a big old like. Comment down below what you liked about this video. And I will see y'all next time.